All right, guys. It's up TTC. LSU beat West Virginia last night, 20-14, in the game where LSU's defense really dominated the game. Um, they allowed under 200 yards total offense against West Virginia, so it was a very, very good defensive game for them, but for us, I should say. Offensively, it's a different story. We've struggled again. Third straight game that we can't throw for 100 yards in the air. That's awful. It's gotta improve. Or they won't beat Florida. They won't beat Alabama. They won't beat Auburn. They won't beat Arkansas. They'll beat Tennessee next week. They'll beat Louisiana Monroe, and they'll beat McNeese State, and they'll beat Ole Miss with this offense. But they're not going to beat teams I just mentioned. Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Arkansas. 3 of those games on the road. They're not winning those games with this offense. It's time to play the backup. Offense needs to spark. Jordan Jefferson's not doing it. He's not cutting it. You got nothing to lose. You got to play the backup. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? He goes out and throws for 100 yards. I mean, you've already got that. So, but other than that, I thought the running game was pretty good. We ran for 150 yards or something around that. So the running game was pretty decent. It was enough to keep them off balance. I thought that we ran the ball enough to win the game, which we did. But look here, we had 150 yard rush. You do that every week with a passing game, that 250 yard passing game. Well, then you're going to win more times than you lose. So kudos to the special teams. Another punt return for a touchdown. Defense had another interception, and a fumble recovery, but we also had 2 interceptions thrown by Jefferson. So now he's thrown for 2 touchdowns and I believe 4 interceptions so far this year. And threw the ball for 75 yards last night. 10 for 22, 75 yards. That's awful. At a at SEC school. Division I SEC school is awful. So they need to change the quarterback in the worst way. Hopefully they'll get it. Hopefully they'll get the second team quarterback reps this week. Oh, he needs to get all the reps. That's it. I mean, he needs to get all the reps. But so hopefully they'll play better. They play Tennessee this coming week. Now Tennessee's not very good. They showed against UAB today. So yesterday. So I'll get more on that game later in the week, probably Wednesday, hopefully. My cam works good. My internet. Been having problems uploading videos. I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, so yeah. But now going to the SEC scoreboard, I'm not looking to worry about all the other games. But Tennessee beat UAB in double overtime, 32-29. Tennessee really, they're in for a tough year. Derek Gilly's a good coach. He'll have them better the next few years, but Kiffin kind of screwed their program up. Florida, they did what I thought they were going to do. They beat Kentucky 48-14. Their offense looked good. It was a matter of time before they got their act together. Mississippi State and Georgia. Mississippi State beat Georgia 24-12. I was kind of surprised. I thought Georgia was going to win that football game, but Georgia has problems too. And they might be looking for a new coach end of the year. I don't think it's all A.J. Green. That's why they're losing. It's not all one player. It's the whole team. They got some issues. Ole Miss beat Fresno State 55-38. Congratulations, you beat a team you're supposed to beat, but you got problems too. You might not have a winning season this year. You don't get your act together. You got a lot of tough games coming up. Auburn, South Carolina. You know, Auburn beat them 35-27. South Carolina, they talk all week about are they going to be a contender in the East. I mean, until they can prove that they can win on the road in the SEC, they shouldn't even be in the discussion because they do this every year. They start off hot. They're in the top 15, top 10 a few years ago, and they falter. So, until they win an SEC road game, they shouldn't even be in the They shouldn't even be in the talk to win the SEC East, and they got to win on the road. And that's again, they should have won last night, but they didn't. In Alabama, Arkansas, that was a good game. I really thought Alabama was going to blow Arkansas out, but they didn't. Arkansas, they played well enough to win. I thought. Take away the interceptions, but they had an interception in the end zone. Mallet throws 2 interceptions in the last 2 drives. You can't do that if you want to win a football game. Plus, Arkansas didn't run the ball very well. Alabama did. I don't know why they kind of stayed away from the running game because it was working. It was working all day, and they were trying to throw the ball, which I never didn't understand. I mean, the runs working, do it. I mean, they couldn't. Arkansas wasn't stopping Alabama running the ball. They weren't doing it. They didn't do it all day. The other national game I'll talk about is Boise State and Oregon State. I didn't get to see much. I saw a little bit of the game. I was watching the LSU game, but I saw Boise won. That's not surprising. I thought they were going to win the game, but now they don't. Now they don't play them by the rest of the year. They more than likely will be undefeated. It's going to be very interesting to see if they're the only undefeated team. Of course, I don't know. I don't know if you can put them above a one-loss Ohio State team or one-loss SEC champ. I don't know if you can do that. Even if they're undefeated, I don't know. But it's going to be real interesting to see if they're undefeated and you got a one-loss SEC school or a one-loss Big Ten school, which would be Ohio State probably. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be interesting. They can beat anybody in one game scenario, but if you put them in the SEC, they wouldn't go undefeated. And there'd be no way they can run the table. They couldn't go through. They couldn't play 8 games. They couldn't play Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, Auburn. They couldn't. It's too tough. They don't have the depth to handle that. But in one game set, they can beat anybody. That's what's scary about them. But guys, look. Get used to it. They're gonna be undefeated. They're gonna be undefeated end of the year, and at the end of the year, we're gonna be faced with a dilemma of do you put an undefeated Boise State team over a one-loss SEC champ or Ohio State? It's gonna be real interesting to see. I don't think the SEC is gonna be. I don't think anybody's going undefeated in the SEC. So it's gonna be very interesting to see, especially when the BCS rankings come out. What the computers do with Boise. I don't think they'll be very high with them. I think the computers is going to hurt them at first, but we shall see. But I'll talk to y'all guys later in the week. I try to make my videos on like a Wednesday. Sometimes, like I said, internet doesn't. I don't know. I get this error every freaking time, and hopefully I don't have any more issues with this crap. But anyway. Y'all have a good day and a Sunday, and I'll talk to y'all later.